Don't pull. Walk with me. Welcome back, YouTube, to another video of Love Yourself First with Christopher Lawton, myself. Today's video, I want to talk to you about something that helped me escape my depression, which is loving yourself. And I'm going to share with you my 5 tips that are going to guarantee you that you will love yourself if you practice them. You have to practice them though. That is the key, because anything that I'm sharing with you, I want you guys to practice and put it into your own life, so I know if it works for you. Let's jump right in to tip number 1. Tip number 1 is the most essential out of this entire list, because we cannot move forward if we're stuck in the past. And tip number 1 is make sure that you forgive yourself. If we want to move forward in life, then we have to forgive ourselves for the things that we have done in the past. There is no point in holding on to something that is only going to continue to weigh us down. And you might ask yourself, how do I go about forgiving myself? Or what I've done in my past is not forgivable. Well, I'm going to stop you right there and say that you're wrong. It is forgivable. You can move forward and you can become a better person. You just have to practice. What I found helpful for me when I was trying to forgive myself was I would write myself a forgiveness letter. First step I would do is I would write down any of the things that I was regretful for, anything that I've done in my past that I regretted or made me feel bad or that I thought about constantly that I wish I could change. I would write it all down. Then after I wrote down that list, I would write an I forgive you list. So I would take all those regrets that I wrote down and I would write I forgive you for right before it. So I forgive you for cheating. I forgive you for lying. I forgive you for your past sins. Whatever the situation is for you, after you write this list, and after you write the I forgive you list as well, make sure you read over that list. Read it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, however many times you need to read it until you can feel something change in your heart. I got this tip from reading Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. This book really shaped and changed my way of thinking, and it really clicked with me when the author said you cannot love yourself until you have forgiven yourself. So please practice these steps, and I promise you, you will find a way, you'll feel something change in you, and you will forgive yourself. And remember, if you're trying to forgive another person, that forgiveness is not for that other person. That forgiveness is for you to let go of that hate that you're carrying around in your heart. Once you forgive that other person or forgive yourself, then you will become 10 times lighter and you won't feel as stressed out or as tense. You'll be able to fully love again and love yourself and create a beautiful life. Tip number 2, we have to write down our goals. And then after we're done writing down our goals, we need to make a promise letter to ourselves, promising. Just like we forgave ourselves in our forgiveness letter, we have to write promises down. Say, I promise that I will try 100% to achieve this goal. I promise that I will work on this goal every day for a month. Whatever you promise to do, make sure that you're actually doing these promises. And then when you start to see the progress that you're making towards these goals, it's going to help you fall in love with yourself a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. And when you're writing down these goals, remember what Michael Jordan said. You miss 100% of the shots you do not take. So when you're writing everything down, write down your wildest goals. Whether you want to make $1 million, whether you want to own your own franchise, whatever the situation entails, write it down. That's how you manifest things into existence, is by putting it out there into the universe. The next step, tip number 3, we have to start working on our 4 elements. And to every human being in existence, we all are made of 4 elements. We're made of our physical self, we're made of our mental self, our emotional self, and our spiritual self. And we have to be feeding these 4 elements in order to grow into the best version of ourselves that we can be. For the physical side of the 4 elements, we have to be working out, whether that's running, jogging, walking, sit-ups, push-ups, lifting weights, swimming, whatever you can think of There are a million different types of exercises. My personal favorite one that I'm trying now is yoga. There are a million different types of exercises out there that can satisfy that physical element. Mental element. You need to be learning something. Whether we're reading books, whether we're watching educational YouTube videos, whether we're taking classes to increase our knowledge on a certain subject, it doesn't matter what we learn. But our brain has to continuously be learning something new. The power of our brain is astonishing. There is no limit to how much we can learn and grow in continuing to chase that best version of ourselves. The emotional element is one of the biggest pieces to this puzzle, because you have to be able to understand how you're feeling and how you can change the way you're feeling if you're feeling negative. With the emotional element, we can take these negative feelings that we feel and change them into a positive feeling. We can recycle our pain if we're feeling depressed and turn that depression into motivation to get better so we don't have to feel this way anymore. And lastly, our spiritual element, which is anything that helps us become mindful in that moment, which could lead to, if you're religious, prayer, or for me personally, I like to meditate a lot. When I meditate, I become grounded into the moment that I'm in. I'm only thinking about that moment and how many breaths I'm taking in and how many breaths I'm releasing out and how long my breaths are and how long my breaths out are. Doesn't matter which one you choose, whether you choose to use prayer or whether you choose to use meditation or both, just as long as you're taking the time to be mindful of that moment. Next step, tip number 4, is we have to start asking ourselves, whenever we're doing something or about to do something, ask yourself, if you loved yourself, would you do this? If you loved yourself, would you continue to let yourself feel depressed? And if the answer is no to that, then we find a way to change that. My 5th and final tip in the love yourself process is to make sure that you're doing everything out of love. Whether that's love for yourself or love for another person or love for your favorite football team, whatever it is. Just make sure that you're doing it out of love, guys. I want to say that I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you've been showing me. We're up to 33 subscribers and we're continuing to grow. And I love it. I love this journey that I'm on. I would love that you guys get to be a part of it. I want to see you again in the next video. If you haven't, click that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Drop a like, leave a comment. Tell me, do you have trouble loving yourself? Or tell me what tip you're gonna use or you found the most helpful. Again, guys, thank you so much for everything. I love you guys so much. Until next time, deuces.